So if anyone is interested to know what my computer specifications have been for the last 1.5 year, hey, what's up? तो आज तुम्हें थोड़ी सी डिफरेंट लाइटिंग दिख रही होगी एंड होपफुली बेटर दिख रही होगी एंड आई हैव फाइनली फिगर्ड आउट द कैमरा सेटिंग्स. लास्ट टाइम मैंने 15 FPS पे रिकॉर्ड किया और मैंने वीडियो डाल दिया, बट होपफुली दिस टाइम इट विल बी अ लॉट बेटर. So anyhow, today I just decided to make a video on talking about my journey so far and how I got started in 3D and 3D animation, product animation. So as some of you may know that I started freelancing in 2016 and although I have been freelancing for about 5 years now, पर उसमें काफ़ी सारे breaks हैं बीच में because I was not getting regular work and for most of the period I had been freelancing in video editing services and logo design and mascot animations. It's only about the last 1.5 years that I really got into 3D animation, although it has always been my interest, but because of very high hardware requirements I have always been quite discouraged by the render times, and I'm sure जो भी इस same profession में लोग हैं they can relate. So if anyone is interested to know what my computer specifications have been for the last 1.5 year, I'll just attach some images of my laptop. It features the mighty GTX 1050 and you can see the brilliant condition it's in. Lid is broken, the backplate has some cracks, battery has been removed because it started swelling because of high temperature issues due to render times, continuous 24/7 run times, and I am pretty sure it's done and dusted now. So I recently invested in a much better computer. The most of my portfolio that you see was created on this beautiful laptop. So this is just to tell you that if you are dealing with a potato computer like me, it's still quite possible that you can come up with a portfolio and you can start providing some professional services with it. Anyhow, I have been on Fiverr 3 times. The first time I came on Fiverr, I started with visual effect gigs and then I eventually came to video editing as that's what the mass product was that most people would be interested in buying and I could get regular orders. So that's what the idea was. Unfortunately, it actually worked for me. So I had created the gig, पर उस पे कोई इतना मुझे attention मिला नहीं. And then I started noticing back in 2016 this was the new thing कि लोग वीडियो बना रहे थे to describe what the service was that they were providing in the gig. And अब तो although ये बहुत common हो चुका है, but back in 2016 काफ़ी uncommon था ये. And I just catched up to that idea. I made a video describing what the service was and fortunately right after that it made my gig rank on the number 1 page on the number 1 row if you had searched for video editing. So I started getting a lot of attention all of a sudden and that's where the business started. I did that for 3 months. The business was scaling quite rapidly, but since I was very young at that time, I did not know how to deal with that many orders. So I ended up delaying a lot of orders. The delivery times were all over the place, and I ended up violating 3 Fiverr policies which I did not even know existed. And ultimately that account got suspended after that 3 months when it just had gotten established. That account featured about 150 plus reviews. We had dealt over 250 clients in the period of I guess 1 to 2 years and all of that was gone overnight. So I had to start from scratch. I started a new account immediately, made the same service again, video editing. There were 2 of my old clients who started placing order there, got me that first initial credibility that a seller needs to get anywhere on Fiverr. But for whatever reason, this time it did not work out for me. The gig never got ranked and I kept trying to make newer gigs, kept working on it for about 1 to 1.5 years, but that account never really got off and eventually I decided to just shut down that account because for whatever reason that this account has been blacklisted by Fiverr. And then I finally decided to make a new account in September 2020. That's when I started providing the service product animation. It was something that I was always interested in, but why I only started now was because I just had found out that Blender has this new feature called EV. तो पहले क्या होता था, Blender का default render engine है Cycles, although provides great results but also takes a lot of time to render, which was just not a possibility for me because hardware requirements are quite high. But what EV changed was, although वो आपको result Cycles जितना अच्छा नहीं देगा, पर if done well, if the lighting is done strategically and अगर EV के हिसाब से अगर आप लाइट करो सीन को तो it can produce quite good results. So even now if you see my portfolio, it features at least 80% EV work. काफ़ी सारा काम उसमें EV में render हुआ है and it's only the newer projects that I'm doing now are done in Cycles only. So for about 1.5 years I worked on this laptop and most of the work was done in Eevee. So it was very coincidental how I came up with the idea of starting on product animation. Although it's something that has always fascinated me, advertisements, specifically product advertisements. But yeah, I never really got around to it because of the hardware issue. But I just started seeing that how all the services that I used to provide have gotten extremely saturated now, and I cannot compete with that much competition if I had started to work from scratch now. So I decided to look for a niche which can pay well, but it still does not have that much competition, and moreover so because obviously 3D animation is a lot more complex than video editing or logo design. It requires a lot more information, and obviously उसका result ये है कि उसमें बहुत कम लोग आते हैं. And that's what the idea was, and fortunately it worked for me, and that's exactly the advice I gave in the last video and I would give to you, to find a niche within a niche which pays well, बहुत ही specific niche और जिसमें competition कम है, because वो obviously it's a harder task to achieve. So that's what the idea was. My friend required some services with video editing, and fortunately that was the time I had started this account, so I got him to place orders, the initial orders on Fiverr. I got around 4 or 5 reviews from him initially, and the gig started to work from there. So all that observations of Fiverr that I've had for the past 5 years, 2 failed accounts, I tried to encapsulate that in one video in the last video. Unfortunately the video and audio quality is quite bad, so I might remake the whole video and maybe a little more detailed one in future if you guys ask me. But for now that's all I'll leave you guys with. Please let me know in the comments if there is anything else that you would like my thoughts on. And you can follow me on my Instagram, you can check out my Discord server, and you can also see my portfolio on my website. All the links are in the description, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.